Hi everyone, this is Jill from the Northwoods, live from my gym. This has a terrible echo. This is not going to be my recording room, but I thought today I would do my recording right here from the gym so you can see what I do and talk a little bit about strength training. We talked about it before, but the idea is that strength training is important, right? If you do strength training, you won't have muscle waste. You'll be able to get up and out of the chair when you need to, and so that will give you a longer longevity and everything. But here's the deep dark secret: is you will burn calories doing everything else: cooking, cleaning, washing the dishes, going for a walk, snoozing. Everything you do, you will do with more calories, and so it will enhance every aspect of your life. And this is where I've been going through this entire process of Mounjaro. Put on 12 pounds of muscle weight, which means in the end that upped my goal weight about 15 pounds, 20 pounds. So it's really good for everything in here. But I wanted to explain a little bit about this room, how I came to this room, and maybe how you could have a gym just like this particular room. So this room used to be a guest bedroom. So I have a 3-bedroom house, and I know I'm very fortunate to have a 3-bedroom house. And at one point, the bedroom that's my normal recording room, that was the room that I used for guests. I had a guest bed in there and everything else. This also was a guest bedroom, but it was storage. And guess what? I never really had guests. And then the pandemic comes along and suddenly can't go to the gym. And I was making progress. I was losing weight. I had been working out with my trainer for a really long time now, and I didn't want to lose what I had gained. Also, I was drastically afraid that I was going to slip into old Jill. And so old Jill came about like the first moments of the pandemic. Ooh, I'm going to make ice cream. That's what I did. Very first thing I did is I went and I made ice cream. The next thing that I did is I said, oh, I'm going to buy some video games and I'm just going to play video games. And then suddenly panic struck at me and I thought, oh no, shouldn't hit the mic. Oh no, this is, who knows how long this is going to do. And I am going to go back to old Jill, who played video games from the moment I got done with work to the moment I went to bed, rinse, repeat. I had a weekend once where I played a video game for 80 hours straight, and I didn't want to go back. I was really concerned about that. So this gym came about because of that whole situation. So let's quickly just review this week. Last week, I took my brand new dose of shot, and boy, the side effects hit me. I felt kind of sick to my stomach all weekend long, which was not unlike when I went to 10. I had pretty low side effects with all of my doses, and then I went to 10, and then suddenly I was feeling it pretty hard. I'm feeling it pretty hard right now. Pretty much when I eat almost anything, I feel kind of sick to my stomach for a while. That goes away, and I know it goes away, and it also makes me feel like initially I feel like I'm going to throw up just a little bit, but I never do. And so in my head, I can tell myself, it's not going to happen, Jill. It's not going to happen. It's going to be fine. So I lost 2.5 pounds this week, which is the biggest loss I've had in a while, which is good news. And so we are back on track to getting this. Like I said, I may be done after this particular dose, which could come then somewhere at the beginning of next year. And I've had friends. I had breakfast with a friend of mine this last week, and she's like, oh no, Jill, you're done. Be done, and I'm still 40 pounds overweight. And while I agree with her, and my doctor said the same thing, your stats are great. Cholesterol, blood pressure, everything's great. Quit now. And I still am worried about my knees. I'm worried about my ankles. I've already blown out my ankles more just that one time. That was really bad. I need to just get at least 30 of the 40 pounds down. And then I could be the 10 pounds overweight that everyone is, that they complain about that 10 pounds they can never lose. I can live with that. So it's all good. So in the hope then of keeping, like I said, progress that I've made, this gym kind of came about, like I said, during the pandemic. And I don't know about you, but if you're anyone like me, and I don't think this is like an overweight person thing or a physically lazy person thing, but I bought gym equipment throughout my entire life. Oh, you know what? There's a rower right here. If I had a rower, I love rowing. I'm going to exercise because I have a rower. That's the ticket, right? And so that was me. The first step in making this gym was me taking every piece of equipment I ever bought. Some of it was in the garage and some of it was in the basement and some of it was sitting in my living room that I just hoped to use it, and I never did. And so step number one is I looked for flooring. And so I'm going to talk about flooring because I talked about this on another podcast episode and someone asked me about it. So I bought this type of flooring. So it is basically interlocking. You can see that there's edges to it, but you can also peel the edges away so that you can put it in the middle of the gym floor. And I found this on sale during Black Friday during the very first year of the pandemic at Walmart.com. Amazon also sells these. So this is 3/4 inch gym flooring. It's kind of just stiff plastic. It's a little grippy, but not entirely grippy. Step number one. So then I ripped the carpet out of this entire room. The carpet was old and horrible anyway. And I bought enough to do this whole room and also have a couple tiles left over in case someone gets damaged. The next step I did is I went to yoga.com and I bought this 6-foot yoga mat and put it in the middle of this gym. And at the time, I know that things got more expensive, that inflation has really hurt some of these prices I'm going to talk about. It was like $40 because nobody wants a 6-foot yoga mat. They want a little yoga mat they can roll up and take to the gym. But it was perfect. Put it right here. It's right behind where the MacBook is. But it was grippy, so I wouldn't slip and slide. Okay, cool. So then I just started moving every piece of equipment I ever bought into this gym. Now, you can, if you're looking to build your own home gym, I know people who have done this in their garage. I know people who have done this in their basement. Again, a spare bedroom if they have a spare bedroom, or maybe you have kind of a bigger bedroom than you need, or a bigger living room than you need. Is there a portion of it you can take out and sort of put some good flooring in there so that you have a dedicated space for exercising? Now, part of it is that, oh gosh, if you're 100 pounds overweight, the gym is embarrassing. Most gyms are embarrassing. And I will say that my gym was very kind, and there were a lot of really great guys who would help you out and show you things. And the only real reason I went to the gym is because my trainer was at this gym, and she wanted me to go there X amount of times, a week and accomplish these things. So when she left that gym and became a private person, she's still my gym person, but now she's on her own private thing. That's when I decided I really don't love the gym. I don't love being in the gym. And so I built this. Okay. So then I moved all the equipment in here and just gave it place. So first of all, let me just talk about the cardio that I have in this room. I'm not going to show it because I got the camera set up and everything, but on this side, you can kind of see it. It is a stair climbing HIIT machine. And so it sort of looks like an elliptical, but it acts like a stair climber. It is soul crushing. And I watched this woman on YouTube do it. It's called the Cardio HIIT Trainer by Proform. It will crush your soul, but it is a really incredible workout. And I remember I used to be able to do 10 seconds of it and I would die. Now I can actually do a good amount of work on here and not feel so terrible. But it is actually the best cardio workout you can ever have. It's great. I'm working now, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but there's Tabatas, and it's called a Swedish 4x4 or Norwegian 4x4. It's a high intensity exercise and then active resting thing. But that's what I do with this. Over here is my rower, and I mentioned that. I love this rower. This rower is going to come to the old age home with me. I am never leaving this rower. It's made by Concept 2. It costs around $1,100, but it's made with a steel beam right down the middle of it. It will never break. This is something that you will own for the rest of your life. And rowing is very relaxing, even as a cardio exercise. It's good for strength training also. And so those are the two pieces of cardio that I have in this gym. But the rest is open space so that I can do strength training or Pilates or exercise videos in here and get that done. But let's talk about some of the things I have in this gym in order to do it. So the truth be told is if you do strength training, you can do all of it with body weight exercises. There's push-ups, there's lunges, there's squats, there's all the different kinds of exercises. There's a leg lifts, or kind of leg lifts when you're on your back. 1,000,001 body weight exercises you can do. I use an app called Heavy, H-E-V-Y, and you tell it what equipment you have, and it'll come up with an exercise program for you. I also see my trainer 3 times a week, 30 minutes, and I split that with a friend. But I know that training can be costly, so that's pretty good. So yeah, the flooring is pretty cool, and I am taking it to the old age home. This rower is going. So anyway, so you can do everything with body weight exercises, and all you really need is a space like this so that you can do a lunge, you can do walks with a band around your legs, you can get everything done. It's really all you need. Let's talk about some, though, eventually you will get good enough where you will need to take it up to the next step. And that's where it becomes a little bit more difficult. So to do body weight exercises and to take it up to the next step, there's a million ways. My trainer knows how to make every single type of body weight exercise long and suffering. She's very good at that. We did that this morning. She's very, very good at all of that. But sometimes you want a little variety. You get maybe a little bit bored. And that's been a big problem with me. I'm someone who gets bored. So I like a kind of a variety thing. So first, let's talk about the cheapest thing that you can buy. And so the cheapest thing that you can buy are bands. And like I said, probably a whole set of these cost 20 bucks. And my trainer got me started on these, but you can do everything where you're like stretching like this, or you step on it and you kind of pull it up and, kind of do arm strengths. Each different color is a different type of resistance. The lovely thing about these is that you, and I did, pack these in your suitcases and take them with you. I used to have to travel for work. These would go with me, and I would do all my exercises in my hotel room with band exercises. There are entire books of band exercises, and all you need is something like this. So some of them are in a loop. This one is stretchy, whichever way you decide to go. Okay, like I said, 20 bucks. You can have a whole set of these. If you're a little bit more interested in something heavier duty, there are these kinds of bands. And what's nice about these kinds of bands is that, first of all, they come with a bunch of handles, and they come with some leg things so that you can put your leg through this. And you could also then, this is Velcro. So my hip machine that's over here, I could Velcro this to this machine and use it as a band and use this machine as the brace for it. So I can do a ton more exercises with a band that I can attach to something else and also do those kinds of exercises. And some exercises that I've done are like, you pull and pull this way, and then that's strength training right there in the arms. Or you can do them sideways, so that we also do these sideways where they're this way and that way. And you can do those too. Again, entire books that you can do. And they even give you a book when you buy these kinds of things. Now, this entire set was 50 bucks. And I got 2 leg or Velcro-y things. And then 4 of these grippy things that I could put on there. They're all just hanging there on the back of a door on these hook things. Another good set of range of exercises. These are a little heavier to pack because they're metal. And so I didn't take these. I took the other ones on trip, but very good to use. So it makes it very, very easy for you to get done an exercise. The next kind of band that you can do are these kinds of bands. And these are handy for putting around your ankles or your calves. And then we do band walks. So it's like shuffle, shuffle, and you never relieve tension with these. And it's a fantastic leg exercise, and it works the outside of the hips, the insides of the hips, and leg strengthening. And people also do what they do, like clamshell, what they call clamshell side planks with them. But you can do a whole variety of different exercises with these little guys too. Also very easy to pack. And like I said, you probably get 4 of these for probably about 20 bucks. So easy enough for you to do so that you can get this done. All right, so let's just talk about the next level. The next level of exercises that I like to do, and see if I can get it. So I have a TRX hanging on the wall back there. And TRX, I've showed some videos on it, are basically, this is going to be kind of fun to show, never work with animals, kids, and TRXs on video. Anyway, so it has two arm things. You strap this up above. It comes with a door anchor. Believe it or not, a door anchor. And I have taken this into hotels with me. I anchor it to the hotel door. I strap this up to the top, and I can get a bunch of exercises done. And right now, I have it hooked up to my ceiling in this room, sitting right underneath that giant yoga mat. And the idea is that you can do pull-ups, where you're pulling up, and you can face forward and sort of do sort of angled push-ups. There's a million TRX exercises out there. Any app online on YouTube will give you a bunch of exercises that you can do. The fantastic thing about TRX and why I like it so much is, first of all, it's about $100. It folds up nicely in this bag that was dangling off here, and I've taken it on trips to exercise again in my hotel room. The downside is hotel room doors tend to be really garbagey. And so sometimes I've exercised on the doors and you sort of felt like the door was going to fall in on you. So you got to make sure your door is a good door. But so TRX is a company, they give back to the military. The idea behind this, the fellow who created this, is he was a soldier in deployment. And he said that people, you're sitting in the middle of a tent, in the middle of a desert, in the middle of nothing. How are you going to exercise? How are you going to keep fit as a soldier? And so he wanted to develop an exercise that people could take anywhere and exercise every single part of their body. So he has pictures on his website, trx.com, about people exercising off of the ship, like Navy ships, off of deserts in the middle of nowhere, in hotel rooms, anywhere you can think of. And so these are fantastic workouts. And one of the things I like about it is it's very easy to adapt when you're someone who hasn't done any big exercises, you haven't worked out yet, you haven't really done any strength training. You're getting started. What you do is there's ways of adapting the exercises. So let's say I'm doing pull-ups, like I'm pulling up, right? When you're starting out, your angle is very upright. You're just kind of working on this when you're standing mostly upright. And the better you get, the stronger you get, the more you start leaning this way. I am almost like 30% from the ground right now because now my trainer makes me, that's the joy of a trainer, is she makes you accountable so that you do the exercises properly. But again, if you look on YouTube, hundreds of exercises that you can do with just this. They sell a door anchor mount, and it costs, not a door anchor mount, ceiling anchor mount, and they sell it for about $99. And it's TRX, and then you strap it up there, you find out where the beams are in your ceiling. And I bought a $5 shed lock from a hardware store. Found the beams, drilled it up into the beams, and even at my highest weight, I was able to do the exercises without fearing like it was going to come ripping down and take my ceiling down with it. So that is actually the TRX. If you ask me what is the best thing you can buy for exercise, the TRX is absolutely one of them. So let's talk a little bit about weights. And here's the thing that most people buy is they buy themselves like a little dumbbell set, and so they can do the bicep curls and the laterals and everything else like that. Perfectly fine. These intro sets come with weights that are like 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 8 pounds, that kind of thing. Eventually, you probably are going to outgrow this. Right now on the bicep curls, I'm pretty close to getting to 30 pounds per dumbbell. And this is 5. You will outgrow these eventually, but starting out, you can start out with these and they're perfectly fine. But to me, I kind of wanted a system that would grow with me as I get stronger, as I can do things. And so the first thing that you can do is buy plates. They sell these little plates, and like this one is 3 pounds, 3-pound weight. And you can do all, even without a thing, you can do different exercise. You don't even need a dumbbell or a barbell for it. But when you buy weights, what's nice about it is you can mix and match and make your own set of weights that you have. Now, one of the things that I found that was pretty exciting to me, I'm just going to move this over here, that I found that was kind of exciting was sort of a build your own system. So my trainer has me working on dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, all the bells. And that can get expensive. That can get really, really expensive. So this weight set and this company that's here, we'll see if we can lift this up. This is a kettlebell. And the company itself sells you the bar and then this top part, and then there's kind of a thing at a base at the bottom. What is nice about this is that you can make your own kettlebell. So this is a 35-pound kettlebell right here. And I can use these plate bells to make whatever size kettlebell I want. So instead of going out and buying a $50 kettlebell, I can go ahead and just buy this and make any kettlebell I wish to have. And then you just sort of twist it up and tighten it up, and then you have your own kettlebell. But what's nice about this system is that they also make barbells. So you can put whatever plate you want in there as well. And they make, and it's over here, I won't disturb it, a whole barbell set. So dumbbell, barbell, kettlebells, all right here. And then it comes with a smattering of different weights, and then you can kind of adjust and add on as you like. One of the more expensive plates that you can get are these little guys, and so the little guys are nice because when you gain muscle strength, it is going to be sort of a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds at a time. So it's nice to get these little guys. It's the little guys out of anything that are probably the most expensive piece out of it. But you can get a pretty good array of plate weights that will get you all the way up and down as much as you want to for, let's just say $100, $150. And then these guys are, like I said, a little bit more expensive because they're just smaller increments. And so the question was that you never understood kettlebells. They look like they would hurt your back. Well, I have to say, like, from that, you could. Now, with all these pieces of equipment, particularly, with the weights, you can get hurt if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not having some kind of guidance. I work out with kettlebells every single day, and I've never hurt myself from the kettlebells themselves. But you also have to know what's too much, what is your right level? And that's where, let me talk about the most expensive thing in my gym system is my trainer, right? Of course, I see her 3 times a week, a half hour, and I see her with a friend, so that splits up the cost between us. But without her guidance of what is the right weight, she sees how your back is arching and goes, oh, that's a little too heavy. Or, gee, Jill, don't you think you should move up on the kettlebells just a little bit more? Like it's too easy for you. And so that is the nice thing is that if you do get a trainer, and let me put about the ins and outs of having a trainer, is that I have a friend of mine who's going to a trainer. I don't know if she's going to go long term, but she is basically learning a couple of routines. And then she'll be able to go to the gym and work out on her own because she has learned a routine. And after a while with working out with these weights, you get a feeling for how much you can handle and when you should move up. The joy of a trainer and having a trainer long term is that they are always encouraging you to go to the next step. Go up and weight a little bit, Jill. I see you're doing a little bit too easy on the bench press. Let's go up some. Keeping you accountable, making sure you don't get hurt. And when we have gotten hurt, I think my trainer is awfully special, but she was studying to be a PT. And every time my friend, she kind of had a weird knee thing where her knee didn't hurt, but was kind of locking up. She knew exactly what to do to strengthen that area up, loosen it up, and get it back and running again. So trainers know a lot about how to sort of also fix what ails you. But kettlebells, there's all sorts of things that you can do with the kettlebell that aren't going to get you hurt. There's like something called a Russian deadlift. There's some people do kettlebell swings. I would not do kettlebell swings with a kettlebell that heavy. I have another one over there that is about 15 pounds less in weight. So I have, they gave me 2 of these in the kit. I'll put a link in the notes of this video. But like I said, this kit, like right now we're coming up on Black Friday. The whole kit last Black Friday cost about $100 and they gave you a bunch of stuff. To me, that is better than buying a weight set and then buying a kettlebell set. That all can get into the hundreds to $1,000. While this, for, maybe if you bought 2 of these different ranges of cassettes, could cost you $200 and you have everything you will ever need. So I kind of dig that. So that is my next favorite thing, is having it. But there's other ways of getting weight in here. Let me show you this other piece of it. Oh, okay. Where did I put you there? So there are other things that you can buy. But like I said, this is primarily these things right here will get you everything that you need. But then there's some fun things to have. This thing is insanely heavy. But this is a bag. And each of the bags inside of there, if you zip this open, they have other additional sandbags in here. So let me just show you in here. So there are bags in here. Each of them has in here. This is 10 pounds each in theory. You can fill it with sand. I think I ended up filling mine with rice because it was during the middle of the pandemic and I could get rice and I couldn't get sand. But people fill them up. And so the idea behind this is that you can walk around with this. And you can also do uneven weights by like throwing this on one side so that you can carry it only on one side and have an instability. And so that's what this is for. But like I said, that's all for fun. I mean, you could just get by with everything I just showed you, the TRX or some bands or, the little weight set that I had. So some other things that I do have, and I'll just show you quickly what I have, is I have a wedge that I can stretch on, so you put it on the floor and then you can stretch your ankles out with it. But when you're doing squats, you can do a lot better squats when you're on an angle. So $10, right? Yoga block, $10. I got the yoga ball right here, the stability ball, the big, I don't think I could show you. I think it's kind of wedged in here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just leave it be. But, you've seen yoga balls before. You can do crunches on them. There's a million exercises. They're called Swiss ball, stability ball, yoga ball, whatever it is. But you can do a bunch of exercises on that as well. And then the other thing, which let me show you here, that I really enjoy in this room, and this is going to make my friend Allison groan, is that because this is a room that has a huge open wide space in here, that means that I can use my Oculus to exercise with. And it's not so heavy, and you put it on, and there are 2 exercise programs that I can do while rowing, or if I was on an exercise bike with these. And what it looks like is it's like an adventure. One of them looks like a realistic Google Maps world. So I can go anywhere in the world and go biking or rowing. And that makes it kind of fun. When I was feeling trapped in this house during the pandemic, it made me feel like I could get out. And this is an Oculus. This is made by the Facebook company. It wasn't when I bought it. It was another company. But now they call them Meta glasses. I forgot. My brother might know. But anyway, so when I was in the pandemic and I was feeling trapped in here, I started rowing all the way around Iceland. So my brother and I went on a trip to Iceland. I was driving, so I didn't get to look around very often. So I could, with this or an exercise bike, just see what the ring road in Iceland looks like. They even have some games in here where they drop you in the middle of someplace in the world, and then you have like 20 minutes to guess all 5 locations. Makes it fun. And now you're kind of doing something to engage your mind while you are exercising. And that one is, I'll put the links in the show notes in there. And the other exercise program is more virtual reality. So you're in a dwarf mine, like Lord of the Rings, and you're rowing. Oh no, something's chasing you, alligators, and you row faster. I have a one that I love very much where it takes you to the Antarctic. And so you can row in the Antarctic, and then you go along Murdo. You can pick like all the bases, and then it goes to the ship that brings everyone down, and then you see Northern Lights. And it's just something to keep your mind entertained while you're exercising. I have huge boredom problems. So this is another big part of my gym in here. There's one more exercise app in here. It's really kind of funny. It is body weight exercise that you do, believe it or not, while you're looking in here. And so when you look in here, you see a gym. That's not your gym, But you see, and then there's other people in there and they are working out with you. You don't see their name, you don't see their real bodies, but it's kind of fun, and they score you based on how vigorously you are exercising, and at the end somebody wins. But the thing that cracked me up about the yeah, it would be the Southern Lights in Antarctica. You're right. Anyway, the part that cracked me up about this is because I have a number of things in here, right? So I'm not doing any one thing very often because I get bored very easily. And I put this on after a while, and I hadn't used the Les Mills exercise in a while. And all of a sudden, the gym trainer person beams into my view and says, "All right, everyone, call off the search. She's right here." We've been looking for you everywhere. Where were you? And it was kind of funny. It made me laugh. But there are good exercises on Oculus. My hope is that Apple Vision Pro someday will have good exercises on them as well. You might notice over here I have a mirror, and the is my audio cutting out? I don't know. I have a mirror over there because sometimes it's good to view your exercises in the case of a mirror, just to see that you're doing everything right, your back is staying straight. So I do have a mirror that I can move out if I'm doing body weight exercises. One last piece that I have in here, and then we're going to call it quits for today, is I have a 32-inch television, which is pretty small these days, and I have an Apple TV hooked up to it. And so it is something because I'm a nerd and I have all Apple stuff, and they have Apple Fitness Pro. And because I have the Apple One account, it gives me Apple Fitness Pro, and they have 1 million classes on there. Not only that, you have YouTube, which also has 1 million classes on there. And so if you're looking like you would want to do like an exercise class, it's available to you. The Apple Fitness exercises are great. I did some Pilates one. I did a speech on them over the summer that was part of there, and I tried a bunch of their exercises, all very good. So that's another way that you can take a space and make it into your own gymnasium, that you don't have to go out and have a membership. The biggest thing, like I said, is just getting a decent space where you can put up a yoga mat and Apple Fitness Plus, not Pro, right? Apple Fitness Plus. And so the hardest part of all of this is just getting a big enough room, so that you can put some equipment in here. This HIIT machine and that rower take up the most space. They probably take up half this room. So if you didn't have any cardio equipment and you just decided you were going to do something else for cardio, everything in here would fit very well. Like I said, I have a 6x6 yoga mat right here, and I can do almost every exercise right there in front of it. So I hope this helps you in maybe thinking a little bit about building your own gym. If you're like me, where you have a hard time encouraging yourself to get out and go to a gym, I can find 1,000,001 reasons not to do it. And I never do, and I don't like it. But, there's something to be said about having some endurance too. But right now I'm trying to make it easy for me so that I do it. And this is a place where I can come right when I get up at the morning and get my exercise done without having to leave the house. So I hope that helps. Does anyone else have any questions about home fitness or how to set up your own gym? All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. I do. And hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com. You can comment right here if you're watching this on a channel. I'd love to hear from you. And what do you do for home fitness exercise? The biggest rule I just want to tell you is that this room can never get filled. It's very tempting. So you might have noticed I redid my recording room not so long ago. And the very first thing I did is I moved all the furniture in that room into here. And then I said, nope, no more. This room always has to stay open. It always has to stay clean. That is the rule, because as soon as I fill this room up with stuff, I'm not exercising in here. So I appreciate you being here. I hope that if you have any questions or you have any exercises you do, put a comment right here. Thanks so much. Have a great week.